exactly. So what we're going to do, Matt Hoover is with me. I'm Bryan Fenley with Fox Sports Radio and work with other media outlets. We're going to tell Matt's story in a way in which we obviously are going to touch on what he's done career-wise, but we're going to learn about some interesting tidbits about him. And the operative word is interesting that he does outside of the business of sports media. So I hope you're ready, Matt, because we are going to get a panoramic shot of your life. No pressure, no expectations. It is on right now. I know I've had a lot of your colleagues on. Now it's your time.
Well, I appreciate it. I've enjoyed watching your show with all the guys that are very familiar to me. So whatever that we can legally discuss now, I'm happy to.
So here you are. Obviously, we touched on hockey, and that was a big part of your upbringing. I've gone on Facebook and I've seen you decked out in the nines with all of your hockey attire on, wearing the skates, looking like a future NHL pro. And that seemed to be, Matt, coming out of school, the direction you were going. And then how did you have this 180 in your life where you thought, I'm actually going to try to ski and just kind of go that route in my life?
It's weird. I did play hockey. I went to school for hockey. Well, it was my intention to play hockey in college at St. Cloud State. Um, Longer story you want to hear why it didn't work out. Girls, beer, some injuries got in the way. I still think I made the right choice there, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to school. I was actually a political science major, and I had to take a summer class 1 year, and I took a TV workshop. It changed my life, and now 30 years later, I've been in television, but I loved it from the get-go. And I was working, got a job in St. Cloud doing North Star, Minnesota North Star hockey broadcasts. That station went under, like it literally went black. So we all looked at each other. We didn't know what to do. So I thought, what the hell? I'm going to go skiing. So I went to Vail as a ski bum, putting people on the chairlifts, which was cool, for a couple of months. But then my brain cells were doing so well. I got a phone call from a friend in Minneapolis. I interned at the local CBS affiliate here once upon a time. They said, we're starting up this sports channel, Midwest Sports Channel, Minneapolis. You want a job? I said, okay. That was it. That ended my ski bum days. And I got into television, and I was an associate producer doing coaches shows for the University of Minnesota, and a lot of menial stuff. Not getting rich, but man, it was the greatest thing ever. So I came back to Minnesota, and that's how it all started.
How good are you at skiing?
I'm not gonna lie, Brian. I was pretty friggin' good.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't break anything on any mountain. I was young and dumb, which really helps when you ski. So it was going down the moguls and everything else. But I will say now, my knees. I'm approaching 60 years old, and my knees and my elbows and my shoulders, I think, are kind of feeling the bumps from the late 80s when I was skiing. So I never got into it a lot. I just really enjoyed it, and still do. We got a kid. We have five combined, and one of them's working at a ski resort right now. So
And
that's a
yeah,
little.
what is that kid doing at the ski resort? And how much of what that kid is doing is what you were doing all those years ago?
Um, I think she's a much better human being than I was back then. So I think she's behaving herself. She's in Big Bear, actually near you. Just work at the rental shop in between. She's taking a gap year from college, but just really loves it. And most of the, trying to think, four of the five either ski or snowboard. I mean, they all snowboard because that's the cool thing to do. I've never done that before, but
Life is fun for you back then. Life is fun for you right now. Why is it fun in general in being Matt Hoover?
being Matt Hoover, I love my life. We got, like I said, five great kids. They're all over that. I mean, that's really the joy, right? It's not what we do or how much we make. It's who we raised and how we raise it. And we've got one in medical school and two in California, one in Montana. So watching them grow and really be great people just is awesome. And then my better half Christina it's changed my world. As we talked earlier, I have a whole life that people don't know about. To be honest with you, this is the first time a lot of them, a lot of people that work with me and for me know about how I live my life, but not too many others professionally know about it.
That life that you're talking about, that is outside of sports media, involves horses. So, when was the last time that you rode a horse?
What year is it? Chris is gonna probably give you a phone call after this. She got me on one horse, old nag named Faith. So I figured it was good karma. The horse's name was Faith. So I got on Faith and rode around. I bet you it was 5 or 6 years ago. The only time I've been on a horse in my life.
Why is that? Why is that only the one time you've been on a
I
horse?
don't know.
Are you scared? Is it a fear? Is it of being
No,
thrown off?
no. It's I would do it again. I'd rather golf. Um, do you have you ever ridden a horse?
I have, and the last time I did, I got thrown off. So maybe that'll incentivize you to
Well,
get back on
listen,
again.
listen. You just explained it in a nutshell. Then I don't need to get on. You just explained what can happen, and when you're my age, you're still younger than me, but when you're my age, if I get thrown, man, bad things happen. I think I don't want to find out.
Although we were just discussing before this conversation started that your significant other has really gotten you on the health kick and transformed you. So maybe it wouldn't be as bad as you think. How has she transformed you from a health perspective? Because here you are, you're drinking something that is, I think, Propel. It's very healthy. You seem like you're a guy that right now could still get out there and be that ski instructor that probably was dominating the slopes back in the 2000s, 90s, even to this day.
Obviously, you have a real faulty camera. Uh, you know what? We just had this conversation. Like I don't know what all these maladies people have, and I don't want to make light of it. But when I look in the mirror, like I see a kid 155 pounds ripped in high school. Like it's like it's a weird thing in my brain. And she's like, dude, get on the treadmill, come to the gym. You got to come to the gym with me today and eat better. And I don't see it. I know I can feel it. I got the spare tire here, but she's when I was divorced and having pizza for breakfast and maybe mac and cheese post breakfast. I mean, it wasn't good. I mean, it was, and I will say her and her mother is a great cook too, and the vegetables and fruits I eat, I feel this is a weird story for a TV interview, but yeah, it's amazing eating good and getting some fresh air and shoveling poop makes you feel a lot better. It really
Well,
does.
yeah, you're referencing the manure from the horses. And so I guess you'd mentioned to me that you have 14 horses on your property. So what's different from what they eat and what you eat?
I'm not going to compare what they eat to Chris's cooking. Um, they're healthy too, and you know what? I've seen what she pays to feed them all the. I mean, she gives them the vitamins like she gives me and stuff like this. She probably cares more about their health than my health right now, but they're worth a lot more money than I am too, I think.
Well, what is she doing with these horses and this passion of hers? And how involved are you with what she's doing with them?
She again, I'm going to plead ignorance on a lot of this. I don't know a lot about horses. I live with a bunch of them, but she's a very accomplished trainer teaching dressage. She studied in Portugal. She's studied in San Diego by you, by some of the greatest trainers in the world. So I guess she's really good at what she does. Whatever she says out there, she's the boss. I'm just a grunt. And so far, after almost 9 years together. I was and still am only qualified to shovel manure.
That's it.
That
That's all she will entrust you in. She
manure
hasn't.
management, buddy. Manure management. It's not as simple as you think. I mean, it's got to go from place A to B. Then now what do I do with it? Now I got a pile. Now I got a pile of manure. Now, like, get the. This is gonna be so interesting. So I had to go buy a manure spreader. You know what that is?
No, tell
Of
me.
course we don't. Because none of us would know what a manure spreader is. So I get it out of the stalls. I get a tractor. I put the bucket. I put it in a manure spreader. I hook up the manure spreader, and these big blades spin around, and manure goes flying everywhere. It's amazing.
So
It's great. So
does it
I
turn to like
fertilize
fertile?
my fields with this.
Well, I was going to say, so it's fertilizer, and then I just have this image of you driving a tractor. You're inside the tractor, and like, what's happening? Like, you've got your hands on the wheel, you're hitting the horn, you're blasting some old '80s rock. Like,
You,
what are you doing inside that cockpit, if you will, of the tractor?
yeah, I will say a lot of my work is, 'cause I'm in Minneapolis, and we have trucks and people all over the country. I spend a lot of time at the computer, and getting out there, you wouldn't think it's relaxing and therapeutic, but it's awesome. Whether it's the shoveling, but when I get on the tractor, you're right. The Spotify goes right to '80s rock. That's all that's allowed. When I'm in the barn too. So it's another story. When we got little girls will come up to help out and stuff, and they're like, "What's this music?" Like, so I'm trying to teach everybody that comes here about '80s rock. But I get out there and I kick it up, and I'm driving. There's no straw hat, or there's no big thing of a wheat stick in my mouth or anything like that. But it's actually kind of therapeutic to get away from our business, which is very stressful a lot, as you know, a lot of times. And I think it's kept me sane, at least to this age. I don't know how much longer I'll do it.
What are you thinking about when you're driving the tractor and the way in which you're sort of able to, like you said, escape and give yourself a moment to reflect and think about other things?
I I hate to say it, but sometimes work enters my mind. But I've learned, what we do at Rush Media is, I take my job very seriously, but I know it's not life or death, and it used to be, and it could eat people up, and it's a tough business for a lot of people. I just came to realize, if I got a graphic operator that misspells Shashevsky, not the end of the world. Sun still comes up.
Yeah.
Um, but I think about, I got a good life. We got a good life, and TV is really, really, it's fun. I mean, what we do, let's be honest, we're not solving any diseases. It's better than filling potholes. It's supposed to be fun. So I try to keep it fun for everybody that works with us and for us. And because that's the bottom line, that's the escape. But the tractor is the escape from the escape.
I didn't know there
That's
was
really, go
there's a
ahead.
such yeah, I was going to say there's a such thing as an escape from an escape. That's taking it to another dimension that I never thought was humanly possible. Matt Hoover is with me. I'm Bryan Fenley. Working in television, what attracts you as far as content on TV that you find yourself gravitating towards? What are the contents on screen that have to be there for it to grab your attention?
Just me personally, the amateur stuff appeals to me a great deal more. I spent a lot of time in and around college athletics. When I first started out, there's a guy, coach named Clem Haskins, that was coaching the Minnesota Gophers. Clem the Gem. And he got a lot of bad press. Everything. He was the greatest guy ever to me, and I got to just live. I went to his house for Thanksgiving, when I was a young single guy, and I watched how he interacted with these kids, and a lot of them didn't have great upbringings, and he was a father figure. And so the amateur athletics, and watching, the Final Four, I mean, forget about it. It's the greatest.
Yeah.
I could watch, if she would let me, I would watch all 68 teams, every game if I could. And then watching that is fun. I love telling stories. We did a game several years ago for Rush Media. I can't remember the young lady's name, but she was in Cincinnati, Ohio, dying of cancer, and her one dream was to play college hoops. So they rearranged, got with the NCAA, rearranged the schedule so she might not make it to the season even. And we televised the game. She made a layup, and Xavier opened up the Cinta Center. I mean, the school Xavier was amazing. Lauren Hill, I think was her name, and there's 10,000 people to watch this Division III women's college basketball game, and that might be my greatest sports memory of anything I've done. And I actually produced David Wells' perfect game against the Twins. I was in Yankee Stadium producing the Twins at the time. But the Lauren Hill game, I mean, you can't get that. That is something that I will take to my grave, remembering how great of a moment that was. And look, it's just sports, right? But that's what it does to people. And I've been through 4 Vikings Super Bowl losses.
Yeah.
So, but we still come back for more, We're still, that's what sports does. So that's what I love about it.
What about Lauren's story do you think had the most profound impact on you emotionally?
Um, it was that sport meant a lot to her,
Yeah.
which, and it gave her so much. And now everything she put into that sport her whole life growing up, and then what she gave us that night, I mean, oh God, I mean, it was, um, I don't know too many other things. I mean, you can't say you really want to, you know, work on a printing press. It wouldn't have that kind of. I mean, good for you if you want to, but it wouldn't have that kind of impact. But those everybody in that stadium that night and whoever watched that game felt something. You can't say that about everything, but that's sports, and that moment that, and she just wouldn't give up. I mean, I think to myself that shit, she was so strong. Like, would
Yeah.
I have done that? Would I have gotten through the pain to suit up and play a game, or would I have just said, So that, her strength, it was amazing. If you can look it up
Yeah.
sometime, it was a really cool moment.
Definitely aware of that story. Matt Hoover was with me. I'm Bryan Fenley. Where in your life, Matt, have you not given up?
Oh boy, I mean, I lost a job and my first marriage a week before Christmas, all in the same week. Uh, so that would have been a good time to hang it up, I think. Um, so I think persevering, and my parents were great about it. They helped me through it. So I think I've learned from them that now if my kids need help, I help them. And looking at them, if anybody has kids, that they keep you going. I think now I think I'm gonna live to 120. Like, I'm never gonna leave them. I might annoy them to 125, but I'm gonna give it a go.
How have they helped you? Your kids helped you?
Oh, well, they kept me in hockey because they played it, so I got a coach. Um, but it's funny that I think they all, for I don't know how they got their work ethics, but they all like to work. They all are good people. I'm not sure how I think they help me. They keep me young. I'll say that. I try to keep up, and I thought I would never be the dad that didn't. I wasn't so cool, but I don't like it. I don't know anybody they listen to. I don't know any of the music anymore. I can't watch Saturday Night Live. I don't know who the guests are anymore. So they try to tell me that who's cool, but yeah, I still go back to AC/DC or Boston or Styx or something. So.
That's understandable. No surprise there. How do you how do you validate them, your kids?
How do I validate them? I don't know. I would be interested to see what how they thought of that. But they know they're a big part of my life. Um, I don't think they get annoyed with me. I don't call them too much. You know, we give them a lot of rope, and so far they've handled it well. Um, I don't know. That's a really good question. I would be interested to know how they feel validated by me.
Well, there's going to be
And
a
it's
lot
not
of.
money. You know, it's not money. I'll help them. They would like it to be more money because that question never stops being asked.
Well, they'll continue to be persistent with that, but you'll continue to shower them with praise and in love and
Yeah.
encouragement, which is what you get from your significant other. Now, if I were to ask her what you are best at, what is she going to tell me?
Well, she doesn't like the way I dress. She doesn't like what I watch on TV. Sports, 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 and I'm pretty good with the manure. I'm not gonna lie. She would say if it was a race, um, I'm oh your dog reminds me. I'm really good with the dogs.
You're
Like
really good
the
with dogs.
me and the dog. Now she thinks I'm terrible with it, but like we're incommunicado. Like me and the dogs understand each other. I talk dog, you
Yeah.
know, and look at this. You're getting the
Yeah,
dogs and
so I got my dog
babies and
here.
everything
This
coming.
this is live on the air here. We've got my mom. Mom, say hi. No, you can say hi. There's my mom.
Hi, mom.
That's Matt. Yeah, this is a celebrity appearance for my mom, and that's my dog, obviously, Izzy. So lots of things going on, and this is what
But
we do.
I'm good with the dogs, and I'm a hell of a tractor driver. And I will say that we joke about the manure, but I think 30 years in television production, if that didn't prepare me to deal with manure up to my eyeballs, what would? So
Here's what I love about you as we wrap this conversation, Matt, and I could continue with you, is even in the face of the manure that happens, metaphorically in your life that's come up, you have this humor, this optimism, this bright outlook on life, no matter what seemingly comes your way. How have you reached that level?
I don't know, and it wasn't always this way. When I was when I was playing hockey, I was type A, and I would put a blade in your ribs if I had to. Whatever it took. I would run through a brick wall. And Chris never knew that part of me, but I was always at a different level. And now I don't know when it happened. I think maybe 15 years ago. And it's not that I'm flatlined, but I don't get too high or too low anymore. And as you know, in our business, there's big ups and big downs, and you got to try to avoid those and um, watch out for the potholes. But you need an even keel. I think it helps everybody. This is one of my pet peeves in our industry is when there's a director who's a hothead on headsets and he undresses a camera guy for a whip pan or a bad shot or something like that. In 30 years, I can honestly say I've never seen a camera operator get better after getting bitched
Yeah.
at on
Yeah.
set. It's never happened. So why would anybody treat someone else like that? And so if you have an even keel, and there was an old director in Minneapolis named Dave Higgins. He was my mentor, and something awful would happen on the air, and Dave would look under his glasses and just say, "Let's not do that again." That was it. Didn't fly off the handle. No one died. Let's not do it. We don't want that mistake on the air. We really don't. But how do you deal with it? Just say, okay, let's learn from the mistakes and move on. Let's do a better show next time. I still haven't had a perfect show in 30 years either. No one has, by the way. So.
Why is it so hard for people in this business to not be so hard on themselves?
I don't know, but it's a problem. I mean,
Yeah.
people beat themselves up, and
Yeah.
they pop in Tums and Rolaids, and it's a high stress. Live television is the best. If in our business, if you could tape a show, something doesn't work out. We all worked on post production. We'll fix it in edit or something like that. That's not bad. But live TV, it's the best and it's the worst, right? Because if something goes bad, it's live. There's nothing, but you can't fix it because it happened and it was live TV. But it's also the greatest because you get the Christian Leitner shot at the end of
Yeah.
the game that people remember. And for me personally, I was listening to the 1980 Olympic team on the radio, and that's still I got pictures of the 1980 Miracle on Ice team, and I knew Herb personally, and would go to a bar with Herb Brooks, have a beer with Herb Brooks, and that team. If you don't like the 1980 Olympic hockey team and what they did in their story,
Yeah.
and obviously the movie and everything else, but that's why we do it, right? Love it.
Some would call it, playing off that 1980 team, a miracle that you went from a ski bum to where you are today. Somebody got that. I will say that it is no miracle. And this is a man, as we wrap up this conversation, of many titles, of executive producer at Rush Media Company, one on the forefront of the best content, sports broadcasting wise, covering an assortment of different events on your television screens. But here is a man who drives a tractor. He shovels snow and manure, a father of many, and one funny guy who I hope in this conversation we were able to extract some of that personality that is infamous and the trademark of who you are in this business. Matt, I'm Bryan Fenley. Matt, I really appreciate this. This was a blast.
Great seeing you, Brian. I really appreciate it. Have a good one.